Have you ever found yourself just, staring at a blank page, maybe a blinking cursor on the screen, or even just an empty whiteboard, and you feel totally, completely stuck?
Oh, absolutely. That feeling like your brain just decided, right, that's me done for the day.
Exactly. Like it's off on vacation somewhere, warm, sipping a little drink, didn't even leave a note.
Happens to the best of us.
Or maybe you look at those people who seem so effortlessly creative, the artists, the inventors, the scientists doing groundbreaking stuff. And you think, wow, they just have it. It's some kind of innate talent. You're either born with it or you're not.
Yeah, that's such a common belief, isn't it? That creativity is this fixed thing, this special gift only a few lucky people get.
It really is. Like it's some exclusive club with a secret handshake.
Right. And we talk about genius or inspiration, like they just appear out of thin air, fully formed.
Right.
But, that's exactly the idea we want to challenge in this deep dive today.
Totally. Because what if that's not the whole story? What if creativity isn't some mysterious force, but something? Well, something much more within reach.
Something more democratic.
Yes. Like a skill.
Yeah.
Or maybe even like a muscle. A muscle that anyone, and I mean you listening right now, can actually build up, strengthen, develop with practice.
That's the core idea. Today we're diving deep into build habits for creativity, unlock your inner artist, and find flow.
We want to pull back the curtain a bit, demystify this whole creative process.
Yeah, look at how some really prolific artists and groundbreaking scientists, Nobel winners, legendary musicians, you name it, how they actually tap into that potential, how they find fulfillment, how they get into those amazing moments of flow.
And we'll be drawing on some fascinating stuff, psychology, well-being research, practical wisdom for people actually doing it.
And the key thing for you listening is that this isn't really just about becoming like a painter or a musician or getting better if you already do that sort of thing.
Not at all. It's way broader.
Fundamentally, it's about weaving practical everyday habits into your life. Habits that will empower you to generate fresh ideas, tackle problems in new ways.
Find real satisfaction in what you do, whether it's your job, your hobbies, just your life.
Exactly. Moving creativity from being this like rare lightning strike to being a more constant, reliable hum in your background. Because really, it isn't a luxury. It's this fundamental human thing just waiting there.
Okay, so let's really dig into that foundational idea first. Creativity is a skill you can cultivate, not just some quality you admire from afar. Why is that distinction so important today?
Well, it's absolutely vital, I think, because things have changed so much, haven't they? Work, life, the sheer complexity of it all.
Totally. The old ways don't always cut it.
Right. Think about it. You need a new business idea, a solution to a tricky problem at work, even just figuring out a personal challenge.
Or bringing some freshness to your daily routine.
Exactly. Just knowing the rules or following procedures often isn't enough anymore. You need to be adaptable, original, connect things that maybe weren't connected before.
And if you see it as a skill,
it opens it up to everyone. It's not just for the arty types. It's for the engineer designing something new, the teacher trying to engage their students, the parent finding a clever solution at home. Anyone.
That makes so much sense. It takes it out of the realm of magic and into something practical, something you can actually do.
Precisely. There's a writer and coach, Susie Pearl, who worked with super creative people for like 2 decades. And her whole point is that what sets them apart isn't some innate magic. It's their consistent habits, the things they do regularly that foster creative thinking.
And the benefits go way beyond just making stuff or solving work problems, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it seems to tap into something deeper.
Oh, definitely. It's about unlocking your potential, finding real fulfillment, happiness even. And maybe surprisingly, it can actually help with things like anxiety and depression. It's like bringing, as someone nicely put it, Technicolor magic into all parts of your life. So yeah, it really is for everyone.
Okay, so when we talk creativity, especially that peak feeling, the word flow comes up a lot, that state where you're just completely absorbed.
Yeah, time disappears, you forget yourself, everything feels effortless, almost automatic. It's amazing.
It is amazing. But you're saying we need to be careful there to distinguish it from something else.
We absolutely do. Flow is a peak performance state, but it's crucial to distinguish it from what Cal Newport calls deep work. Deep work is more of a practice state.
Ah, okay. Practice state versus performance state.
Exactly. Deep work is that focused, deliberate effort on something mentally demanding. You're pushing yourself.
And I think many of us, myself included, kind of mix those up. We chase the flow, thinking that's the goal, that effortless feeling.
Right, but Newport makes it clear deep work, the practice part, often feels anything but effortless. It's frequently uncomfortable. It requires deliberate practice.
Uncomfortable. Okay, so flow is the reward, maybe, but not the main activity.
That's a great way to put it. Think about this. Even world-class performers, musicians, athletes, scientists, writers, studies suggest they're only in that true flow state about 15% of their working time.
Only 15%? Wow, that's
Yeah.
surprisingly low.
It is, which means 85% of the time they're doing something else, something probably less glamorous.
So what did that imply for us?
Well, it's almost counterintuitive. If you're always trying to optimize for flow, if you're only chasing that effortless feeling,
You might be skipping the stuff that actually builds the skill.
precisely, you could be missing out on developing your full potential because you're avoiding the necessary, sometimes difficult practice that builds the capacity for flow.
Okay, that's a huge mindset shift. So if flow is just 15%, what's happening in the other 85%? What are they actually doing?
That's where deliberate practice comes in. That's the core work. And it takes grit, it takes mental toughness, and often it's just plain hard work.
Right, not the effortless glide.
Definitely not. By its very definition, deliberate practice is often uncomfortable. You're focusing on your weaknesses, pushing against your limits, repeating things meticulously. Think of a musician slowly drilling scales for hours.
Yeah.
Or a writer rewriting the same sentence over and over, just changing one word. It's not always fun, but it's how you get better. It's how mastery is built.
So that feeling of discomfort when something feels hard, when your brain is kind of screaming at you to stop or do something easier,
Yeah.
that's not necessarily a sign you're failing or doing it wrong.
Not at all. In fact, it's often a sign you're right on the edge of your current ability. It's a necessary part of growth, of skill development.
I like thinking of it like this. Flow is the mountain peak.
Yeah.
You get there sometimes, the view is amazing, totally worth it.
Nice analogy.
But deliberate practice, that's the valley work. The hard climb, the tricky bits, the sweating, the moments you want to turn back. But that's what allows you to climb higher next time.
Exactly. You have to do the valley work to earn the peaks. Without the valley, there are no peaks.
It really reframes the whole journey. Takes away some of that pressure for constant inspiration and genius. Makes it more about showing up and doing the work even when it's tough.
Consistency over intensity, right? Growth happens at the edge of comfort.
Okay, this leads us perfectly into the practical stuff.
Yeah.
The habits.
Yeah.
You've broken this down into 3 pillars, right? Lessons from these creative experts.
That's right. 3 core areas where we can build habits. Pillar 1 is all about embracing the unexpected and collecting diverse inputs.
And interestingly, it starts with letting go of the master plan. That feels counterintuitive for achieving things.
It does, doesn't it? We feel this pressure to have everything mapped out. A 5-year plan, a detailed career path.
Especially for creative pursuits, maybe.
Perhaps. But it can actually be a massive relief to realize you don't need that rigid step-by-step plan. For many highly creative people, their path wasn't linear at all. It was driven more by, well, chance, serendipity, curiosity.
Just following interesting threads.
Exactly. There's a sculptor, Francisco Gatizua, who put it so poetically, "I have been just wandering, picking up stones." His success wasn't about following a blueprint. It was about being open, collecting things that caught his eye.
Wow, picking up stones. I love that image.
And it's not just artists. Kenneth Arrow, the Nobel Prize-winning economist, brilliant guy, worked across so many fields. His advice was basically, whenever you have the opportunity, always switch. And subject yourself to new experiences whenever you can.
So embrace the zigzag. Don't be afraid to deviate.
That's the idea. When successful creators look back, their path is rarely straight. The key is just to get moving, explore, don't get paralyzed waiting for the perfect plan. The path often reveals itself while you're wandering.
Okay, so being open, wandering. That leads to the next part of this pillar, actively collecting diverse experiences.
Precisely. Because creativity, fundamentally, isn't making something from absolutely nothing. It's about combining things that already exist, ideas, experiences, knowledge, but in new ways.
Right, connecting the dots differently.
So the more dots you have, and the more varied they are, the richer your collection of inputs.
The more potential connections you can make.
Exactly. The chances for truly novel, surprising combinations go way up. Research backs this up too. Like, in science, the really high-impact papers often aren't just building on one narrow field. They make unusual links to other, sometimes totally different areas.
That's where that unbridled curiosity comes in then. It's not just about noticing things, but actively seeking out stuff that's different.
Yes. Kenneth Arrow, again, apparently when faced with something totally outside his field, his reaction was, "It is so far from anything I do, I must be interested."
That's the spirit. A hunger for the unfamiliar.
Totally. So practically, what does this look like for you listening? It could be consciously breaking your routine, travel even just locally, explore a new neighborhood.
Talk to people who are really different from you.
Yeah. Try a totally new hobby you know nothing about. Even just take a different route to work, try a new cafe, read a magazine you'd never normally pick up.
Small things can shake it up.
These seemingly small acts flood your brain with fresh data, jostle your usual patterns, and can spark really innovative thinking. Artist Jenna Rainey talks about this, just embracing curiosity. Like Einstein said, right? "I have no special talent. I am only passionately curious."
Love that. Okay, so you gather all these diverse inputs.
Yeah.
Then what? You mentioned risk.
Yes. You have to dare to take risks. Making those crazy connections, linking ideas that seem unrelated, it feels risky, right?
Yeah, you wonder, is this totally nuts? Will people think I'm weird?
Exactly. But those seemingly crazy links are often where the real breakthroughs happen. Mistakes in this context aren't just, well, mistakes. They're part of the process. A calculated risk of innovation.
A sign you're actually exploring.
A sign you're pushing boundaries, not just playing it safe. Kenneth Arrow, again, had this really striking view on scientific work. He said something like, "You are not doing very well as a scientist if you are not wrong 2/3 of the time."
2/3 of the time. Wow. That completely flips the script on striving for perfection.
Doesn't it? It's just a mindset where failure isn't a disaster, it's just data, a learning opportunity. And if you adopt that mindset, it frees you up enormously.
Takes the pressure off.
Totally. You're less afraid to try things, to venture into weird territory, because being wrong isn't the end of the world. And for creative hobbies, the stakes are often even lower. As someone said, you can have do-overs. It's low risk.
That's so comforting, actually, especially if you're just starting something new. Jenna Rainey mentions this too, right? That fear of failure is a huge creativity killer.
Absolutely. Seeing failures as just part of learning frees you to take the risks that lead to the good stuff. It's about resilience, iteration. Try, fail, learn, try again.
Okay, so pillar 1 is about openness, curiosity, diverse inputs, and risk-taking. What's pillar 2?
Pillar 2 is about create the conditions for creation, shifting focus from the outside world to your internal and external environment. How do you set things up for creativity to actually happen?
Okay, and the first point here might surprise people in our always-on world. Make empty time. Embrace solitude.
I know, right? It feels almost radical these days. We fill every spare second with noise. Phones buzzing, emails, social media.
Constant input.
Exactly.
Right.
But those really big breakthrough ideas, they often need space. They come to a mind that's allowed to wander, often when it's quiet, when it's alone.
Digital stuff has kind of wiped out those empty moments, hasn't it? Waiting in line, commuting. We just pull out the phone.
We have. And that scarcity of truly empty, undistracted time might actually be preventing great ideas from bubbling up. We're too busy consuming to allow for conception.
And here's the weird part. Boredom. You're saying boredom can actually be good for creativity.
Surprisingly, yes. Our brains don't really like being bored, so when you remove external stimulation, your mind starts to create its own. It starts exploring internally, making connections just to escape that slightly unpleasant state.
Huh. So boredom forces your brain to entertain itself.
In a way, yes. Think about that famous story of Isaac Newton and the apple. He wasn't frantically working. He was supposedly sitting under a tree in a contemplative mood after dinner. Empty time. Then plop, an apple falls. And his wandering mind makes this huge leap.
The gravity breakthrough. A classic empty time moment.
Exactly. Jenna Rainey suggests literally scheduling short daydreaming breaks, just stare out the window, and being really strict about limiting digital distractions. Set specific times to check things. Don't just react all day. Be deliberate about not being deliberate.
It makes you wonder, would Newton have figured out gravity if he had had a smartphone buzzing in his pocket?
It's a scary thought, isn't it? Maybe we need to consciously fight for that mental space now.
But it's not just about aimless daydreaming, is it? You also mentioned priming the mind.
Right. While open-ended empty time is valuable, many creative minds also use that time more intentionally. They prime their subconscious with a specific problem or question before they let their mind wander.
Like setting an intention for the wandering.
Sort of. Think of Charles Darwin and his famous thinking path. He'd take daily walks, often mulling over a specific biological puzzle he was working on. The walking itself seemed to help unlock ideas.
And Max Karutz, the biochemist.
Yeah, he said his mind was just constantly chewing on his latest scientific problem, even when he was doing other things, like riding his bike. Echoing Newton, who said his discoveries came by always thinking about them, waiting until the first dawnings open little by little into the full light.
Wow, so it's like loading the question into your brain and then letting it simmer during low attention activities.
Exactly. And research actually backs this up. Activities like walking that don't demand full conscious attention are great for problem solving. Your subconscious keeps working away in the background.
Okay, that's a really practical tip. Take a walk with a question in mind. Now, another habit in this pillar, seemingly simple but crucial, capture your ideas.
Oh, absolutely essential. Ideas are like butterflies, right? They often show up at the most inconvenient times, shower, driving, just as you're falling asleep.
And if you don't grab them right then, poof.
Gone.
Yeah,
Totally
see.
gone. The Keith Richards story is legendary. Waking up with the riff for satisfaction in his head.
Yeah.
He grabs a cassette recorder, mumbles the riff into it, falls back asleep. Later, he finds the tape, the riff, followed by 40 minutes of snoring.
Imagine if he hadn't had that recorder, one of rock's biggest riffs, lost to sleep.
Exactly. It shows how easily valuable ideas can vanish if you don't capture them immediately. Always have something handy, notebook, phone app, whatever works for you.
And it's interesting, you said prolific creators often don't like ideas, they have too many.
Often, yeah. The challenge isn't scarcity, it's managing the abundance. Keeping notes gives you peace of mind, nothing's lost. But it also builds this amazing resource over time. Darwin's notebooks are a prime example, thousands of observations he could later synthesize.
Are there specific techniques for this?
Well, morning pages is a popular one from Julia Cameron's The Artist's Way. First thing in the morning, just write 3 pages longhand, stream of consciousness.
Like a brain dump.
Exactly. Get all the mental clutter out, worries, lists, random thoughts. It clears space for creativity. And creative journaling, just regularly jotting down observations, memories, ideas, turning everyday stuff into potential material.
Right. Training your mind to see the potential, okay? And still under pillar 2, nurturing the mind-body connection.
Yes. We often forget how linked they are. Physical activity, jogging, yoga, stretching, dance. It literally stimulates brain function, gets the blood flowing, wakes things up.
Makes sense. More oxygen to the brain.
And things like mindfulness or meditation, even just a few minutes, they can really calm that mental chatter, reduce stress, and help you tap into your intuition, that quieter voice.
Create space again.
And don't underestimate the benefits of artistic hobbies themselves. They improve observation, motor skills, problem solving, memory, hand-eye coordination. It all feeds back into your overall well-being and cognitive function.
So it's really holistic. Taking care of your mind and body is taking care of your creativity.
They're totally interwoven. Which brings us to pillar 3. Resist the dogma and forge your own path.
Ooh, this sounds potentially rebellious.
It kind of is. It's about breaking free from established rules, conventional thinking, and even free from your own precious ideas sometimes.
What do you mean? We tend to fall in love with our ideas, right?
Yeah.
Especially if we've worked hard on them.
We do. It's natural. We get locked into patterns, develop tunnel vision, especially because of sunk costs. All the effort we've already put in makes it hard to change course or let go.
So how do you fight that?
One powerful, if slightly scary, practice is what's called creative destruction.
That sounds intense.
It can be. Some artists will literally partially destroy a nearly finished piece to force themselves to see it fresh, to find its essential core. Picasso famously said, "Every act of creation is first an act of destruction."
Wow. Destroying to create.
And scientists do something similar, metaphorically. They might take an almost finished paper or theory and deliberately pull it apart, challenge its foundations, just to escape that seductive tunnel of their first thoughts and find a better way. It's about intellectual honesty, questioning yourself even when you're close to the finish line.
That takes real courage.
Yeah.
Okay, what else under resisting dogma? Ignoring the noise.
Yeah, ignoring the noise and external norms. Social pressure, expectations, the system, whatever it is in your field can really crush novelty and risk-taking.
People worrying about what others will think.
Exactly. Sometimes artists need to isolate themselves not just for quiet, but to escape that constant critique, that judgment that can kill a fragile new idea before it even gets going.
Is there a parallel in science?
Definitely. Think about the slow science movement. It's a reaction against the pressure to publish constantly, chase trends, get quick results. It's about allowing time for deep thinking, for intuition, away from the hype cycle.
Like Richard Feynman, the physicist.
Perfect example. He famously distrusted standard tools, invented his own diagrams, and he deliberately avoided reading too much existing literature on a problem until he'd wrestled with it himself. He trusted his own path.
That's amazing. But it also connects to something you mentioned earlier, the pressure we put on ourselves, even with hobbies.
Yes, this modern thing where even leisure has to be productive or impressive. People are afraid of being bad at a hobby, feeling like it's wasted time if it's not amazing or shareable online.
It kills the joy, turns play into work.
It really does. We need to remember the process is the reward, the joy, the relaxation, the meditative state. Dr. Yuri Kaimal's research showed even just 20 minutes of low-stakes doodling significantly boosted mood and cut stress. No expertise needed.
Just do it for the fun, for the feeling, like exercise.
Exactly. You don't stop jogging because you're not an Olympic runner. Okay, last point in this pillar, strategic collaboration.
Wait, after talking about solitude and ignoring noise, now collaboration.
It sounds like a paradox, but it makes sense. Teaming up can actually be a defense against those repressive forces and external critiques.
How so?
Well, think of artist collectives like Cobra or co-authors in science pushing boundaries. They support each other, give each other courage to break from the norm. A supportive group can shield you from that suffocating sense of critique.
Safety in numbers, but for creativity.
And diversity is key. Teams with different backgrounds, skills, perspectives, they naturally bring more ideas, challenge assumptions, avoid groupthink, and usually come up with more innovative solutions.
But isn't there a risk of too many cooks spoiling the broth?
There is. That's the paradox. Too large a group can get bogged down in coordination issues. So it's strategic collaboration. Choosing your collaborators wisely, surrounding yourself with people who genuinely inspire, challenge, and support you. Building your creative ecosystem.
Got it. Choose your tribe carefully. Okay, those are the 3 pillars. Now, how do we keep this going? The final section. Sustaining your creative journey. Mindset for the long haul.
Right. Because this isn't a one-off fix. It's about playing the long game. And the first crucial mindset shift here is embracing the non-linear path of progress.
Non-linear, meaning it's not a straight lineup.
Not at all, especially with digital work, content creation, anything with leverage. Progress usually follows a power law.
Power law, what does that mean practically?
It means most of your effort, hours, days, weeks, maybe months will feel wasted. You'll put in the work consistently, but see very little outward result. It can be incredibly demoralizing.
There.
We all have. But that lack of visible progress isn't necessarily failure. It's just the nature of how these things often work. A tiny fraction of your efforts might produce the vast majority of your results.
So if you expect a steady return for every hour you put in,
you'll likely burn out way before you hit the tipping point. Nassim Taleb uses the sandcastle analogy. You add grains of sand one by one, nothing much seems to happen. Then one more grain, and the whole thing suddenly transforms or collapses.
It wasn't that last grain itself, but the accumulation.
Exactly. That final input triggers a disproportionate result because of all the compounded effort before it. This is so freeing because it means you only need to be right once.
One hit, one breakthrough.
Can change everything. Can pay back all those seemingly wasted efforts. So the key is persistence. Treat each attempt like a lottery ticket. Stay in the game. Keep creating. Keep experimenting. Don't judge yourself too harshly on individual outcomes. Trust the compounding.
Play the long game.
Okay.
What else helps sustain the journey? Designing your environment.
Yes. Your physical workspace matters hugely. It impacts focus, creativity, productivity. You need to create your sacred space.
Doesn't have to be fancy, right?
Not at all. A corner, a nook, a specific chair. But make it optimal. Comfortable furniture isn't a luxury. It reduces discomfort, fatigue, errors, boosts energy.
Natural light.
Crucial. Reduces eye strain, drowsiness, headaches. Makes people feel better, more productive. And plants. Connecting with nature, even just a small plant, has a calming, positive effect.
What about break areas?
Super important. Even just a comfy chair away from your desk. A place to step back, reset, let your mind wander for a few minutes. It allows those empty time moments.
And you mentioned using art strategically.
Yeah, this is fascinating. Critical art, challenging, thought-provoking pieces can push your thinking. Humorous art can lighten the mood, foster playfulness, which is vital for taking creative risks. It's about creating a space that's both comfortable and intriguing.
A dynamic environment.
Love it.
Okay, last point, but maybe the most fundamental, prioritizing rest and well-being.
Absolutely non-negotiable. And top of the list, sleep. It's the bedrock. vital for cognitive function, memory, problem solving. Your brain needs it to make those connections. Remember, great ideas often come in dreams.
So true. Don't skimp on sleep.
And circle back to those artistic hobbies. They're not just nice to haves. They genuinely boost happiness, relaxation, improve cognitive skills. They give your brain a break from your main work, reduce stress.
And that break can actually help your main work, right?
Yeah.
By allowing new perspectives.
Totally. It's all connected. Physical health, mental clarity, emotional state, creative output. It's one big interwoven system.
Wow. Okay, so let's try and wrap this up. The big message from this deep dive seems to be, creativity isn't magic, it's muscle. A skill you can build.
Exactly. Through consistent, intentional habits across those three areas. Embracing the unexpected and gathering diverse inputs.
Letting go of plans, being curious, taking risks.
Creating the right conditions.
Making empty time, priming the mind, capturing ideas, mind-body connection.
And resisting dogma to forge your own path.
Creative destruction, ignoring noise, strategic collaboration.
And underlying it all, that mindset shift. Embracing nonlinear progress, persisting, designing your space, and prioritizing your well-being.
The core lesson really is about the journey, isn't it?
Yeah.
Consistent habits, embracing the discomfort as growth, trusting that compounding effect, not just waiting for lightning to strike.
That's it in a nutshell. It's a continuous, deliberate practice.
So here's a final thought for everyone listening. If the people who literally change the world with their creativity, top artists, groundbreaking scientists, if they use these kinds of shared habits, what could you achieve? What could you unlock by consciously bringing these practices into your own work, your own life, your own unique situation?
Yeah, imagine that. Imagine the collective potential if we all stopped putting creativity in a box, if we broke down those walls between art and science and just embraced the art of creativity everywhere. What new connections, what breakthroughs, what joys might emerge?
It's exciting to think about. We really hope this deep dive gives you some inspiration and, more importantly, some practical tools to start building those habits, even just one small step today.
Go ahead, pick up some stones, make some empty time, trust the process.
You've absolutely got this creative capacity inside you.
The journey awaits.
Until next time, keep diving deep.